Ooh.
Oh.
Ew.
All right,
Hold
that's
on,
it.
Chris
That's
Rob.
the presentation.
I like.
That only took about 30 minutes to do.
He stole that from Chris Rob.
That was productive.
All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about, there's sort of a common theme. I'm probably going to change the theme here pretty soon, but the why BBL Hero. What were the things that I think that as a group, identified that we were certainly hopeful that we could improve upon. Our BBL, listen, we're all biased, we're all here, but I really think it just stands apart from everybody else. But you always want to look for improvements, right? What are the things that you can do that'll make patient satisfaction and make customer satisfaction even higher? Give us something new to sell. This is a pretty dramatic product improvement in my opinion. So what were the things that we were looking to improve upon? And certainly treatment speed. I mean, anytime that you can make something faster, you can get somebody, instead of a 30-minute treatment, you can get them to 15, or a 15, you can get them to 5. Then you want to try and take that opportunity, to make that improvement. This will give us, I believe, a substantial competitive advantage by us being able to do this over everyone else. It's sort of, and I'll show you a video of it here pretty soon, but by being able to increase this treatment speed, it's impressive, and it's going to demo really well, and people are going to really like it. I think one of the other things that we would like, that you'd like to improve with BBL is striping. I mean, there's a lot of striping that happens with BBL or IPL in general, and it's not ideal. You can treat somebody, you're treating their chest or their back, or, it's a little bit less on the face and certainly on arms and legs. Because those were so slow to do, because you'd have, just so many missed spots, there really wasn't even a market for treating the body with BBL because of that. And I think that there's nothing else that you can really do. I mean, you're not going to chemical peel somebody's entire body. You're not going to resurface somebody's entire body. And this was a market, I think, that is really, really untapped. And, it's sort of akin also to hair removal, from a user standpoint. If you've ever had to do, if you've ever seen on the schedule a back or a leg in hair removal, I mean, that you're just like, oh my God, I do not want to do this. And that's the same thing with BBL. Or IPLs in general running at 1 hertz, is they take a long time. And then even when you do it, you're afraid that you're going to stripe them. And then of course, you want to see if you can make the treatment more comfortable. So these are really the improvements that we're trying to make, and they're substantial. This is just for the people who haven't been in the business long enough to see striping. It's really troubling to see how much of this there is out in the market. Now, this is bad technique, and I'm certainly not going to make any promises that we are eliminating striping, but I think the way that we're doing things now, I think certainly makes it won't be as substantial. If you have really good technique, you won't get it. But unfortunately, not everybody does, and these are the kind of things that you end up with. And sometimes it's a matter of you're just overlapping your spots too much, but oftentimes it's also just leaving gaps. Now, these are probably better instances of just using the wrong settings on the wrong people, particularly on the right-hand side. On the left, that's the problem. I mean, with a lot of other people, and our goal was to eliminate that. So if you hadn't seen that, there's a ton of that out there, guys, and that's what we're trying to improve upon with Hero. So Hero has a kind of sort of this double entendre. Has all this, rah-rah part aspects to it, and Robbie will hit upon a lot of that. But we also made it an acronym that I think it really does do a good job of describing what the advantages are. So it's high energy, rapid output. All right. That's what you get when you buy the BBL Hero module. All right. We're going to have high energy, rapid output. Now, what we're going to do is, this is going to be sort of you're going to see probably a lot of this in marketing. So BBL Hero, 4 times the speed. I'm going to get into each of these individually. 3 times the peak power, 2 times the cooling. In order to accomplish all the things that we wanted to do, you have to have you need to have all of this. You need to be able to go fast. You need to be able to have good sort of low energy, but higher peak power pulses. And you have to have cooling that keeps up with it all. Those are the sort of the mechanics that sit behind the BBL HERO module itself. All right, so when we talk about speed, we're going to be talking about 4x the speed. And where the 4x comes from is previously we've only been able to work at 1 hertz. Now, in a majority of the settings that we're going to be using, we're going to be working at 3 to 4 hertz, somewhere in that range. Depending on the fluence, depending on the area that you're treating. So for example, arms, you're not going to always be able to work at 4 hertz, but simply just because it's probably too fast in order to do that. On the face, maybe you're not always going to be working at 4 hertz with some of these settings because it's too fast. But treating backs and arms and big, broad, flat surfaces, we're going to be able to accomplish 4 times these treatments. We're going to be able to get them done 4 times faster. All right, the 3x peak power number, what that's going to be helpful for us is in the past, you know, all of the settings that we would recommend and when we were treating pigment, we were treating them at 10 milliseconds. Now we're able to go down to 3 milliseconds. There are probably only 2 systems on the market that I know of who are delivering pulses that have any kind of effective energy at all when you're at 3 milliseconds. But that really was a difference for us. You're going to see a lot of 5, 6, 7 joules per square centimeter at 3 millisecond pulses, really high peak power pulses where we can bring the temperature of that pigment up pretty quick and still maintain a level of comfortability. Now the cooling also is going to help with comfort. We had to enhance the cooling as well. And Scott Davenport came in and I know that and kind of worked with the entire group inside to make the cooling more robust. So because in order, again, to keep up with all this power that you're pushing, you have to be able to keep up with cooling as well. It's paramount. And previously we were struggling with that, even at some of the 1 hertz settings. So these are sort of the major improvements that you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of this this kind of look. Now, to be clear, because I think this is the primary objective, is for everybody, is for us to understand and distinguish between BBL HERO and then some of the applications that we're going to get. So there are basically 2 options with BBL. And I know Dave is going to probably allude to a little bit of this as well, but just fundamentally, you can add onto a system a regular BBL module, all right, and that's our, you know, sort of the BBL that we've been selling for a long time with all the same applications. You'll have an additional module selection that you can also choose, which is BBL HERO. All right, so you're going to have 2 options. You're going to have BBL and you're going to have BBL HERO that you can add onto 2 systems, and there'll be different prices. And Dave, again, will talk to you about that. But understand, BBL, when you add it, it's what we have. It's forever young, it's forever clear, it's forever bare. And then, of course, skin tight is that optional module that doesn't necessarily come with it, but we try and get it into you know, most of the packages. When we have BBL HERO, you get all the same stuff, but now you're going to get 2 additional applications. All right, you're going to get the Forever Body application, and you're going to get a Forever Young BBL Plus application. I'm going to tell you a little, we'll talk a little bit about specifically what those are and why we went this direction. All right, so BBL HERO, you get all of this. If you just sell BBL, you only get the 4 on the left. All right, so BBL HERO is the module. You know, one way to think of it is like, instead of us calling it BBL 2 or BBL, you know, plus, we decided just to name it BBL HERO instead. All right, so BBL HERO is what gives you 4 times the speed, the extra cooling, and you can go down to 0.3 milliseconds. All right, or 3 milliseconds. All right, so those are your two options. So 1 powerful module, 2 new applications. The module itself is BBL HERO. The applications are Forever Body and Forever Young Plus. All right, now, so we know that you can, so those on new systems, you have those 2 options. Now, as far as upgradability, all right, we are not going to be upgrading for now the BBLS into a HERO module. All right, that's not going to be an option. but everything else is on the table with a minor limitation on, so this is Joule 7. Joule 7 has a cutoff. There is a serial number of which which we're not upgrading to, but a majority of Joule 7s will fit into an upgradable concept where we can go in and change the module out and change the handpiece and change out the software. And Dave will particularly, you guys will get a little more specific information on that serial number. Of course, mJoule and Joule X are all upgradable. So right now, you know, not Dave might even talk a little bit, I don't know if that's in his talk track today, to talk about an upgrade possibility, that plan that they have for BBLS, but just understand that right now, BBLS is not upgradable to BBL HERO. All right? Okay, so watch this video. This goes to the speed. See the timer up top? So this is sort of the technique. You're gonna pick your setting, you're gonna do 2 passes. This is an entire chest. Well, obviously we sped this up a little bit. A minute 29 seconds to do an entire chest. It's everything, that's everything we wanted it to be. All right. I mean, this is going to demo spectacularly. Nobody is going to be able to come close to this time in regards to treatment time. And that's what it looks like. It's just this 1 pass horizontal, this 1 pass vertical, and there might be a 3rd pass from time to time when the indication says that we need to do that. But fundamentally, you know, and then that would add another, 35, 40 seconds to this. So this is all done within 3 minutes. It's sit down and go. All right. So you can really see that that video does a really nice job of showing you, you know, just how fast this is. These are forever body results. All right. So again, the advantage of forever body is being able to do these things in a minute and a half, you know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then ending up in these really spectacular places. So you guys know me. I feel like probably the most important thing that you can launch a product with is spectacular pictures. So we will continue to, because I think that's how you sell. Along with some of these videos to demonstrate, you know, how quickly you can do these things. But this here, guys, is a home run. Like you know, I tend to say this a lot, I think, but you can't do any better than this. This is a home run treatment. And we have lots of these photos, right? So this is your before, 2 months after a single treatment. So to me, what this really speaks to, being the fact that it's one treatment, is notice there's no striping, right? Anytime after one treatment on a chest in the past, I don't care who you are. Well, maybe there's a few people who could do it. I won't name names, but I would tell you 8 out of 10 people would stripe this person, and you would have to have a second treatment at minimum, but I don't even think your expectations would be to go from that before to that after. Oops. Let me go back here. This is a more subtle result from Dr. Swingle. And one thing that you'll notice is the darker, the more pigment, basically the rougher the palette to begin with, typically the better result. So this is a little bit more subtle, all right? But all we were doing here is just trying to lighten up the, and I need to get this photo front on also. And I know we treated a little bit of their arms, but these back pictures, you know, doing this entire back in, you know, probably 5 minutes would be my guess. Treating arms, again, is a major area where you would expect to see a ton of striping. And again, you know, there aren't a lot of arms being done in this business. And I think this is a big market for us to jump in and really capture, is this arm and off body market. You know, another really nice result, because this is really rough, leathery skin over here on the left. Really nice clearing right here in the chest. So this is the forever body stuff. All right. You're going to pick your filter, pick your settings. We're going to do it really fast, and you're going to get big results with minimal to no striping and fantastic results. Oh, there's my zoom. All right. Now, so again, 1 powerful module, 2 applications. All right. So the second application is this Forever Young BBL Plus. So Forever Young BBL Plus, we didn't really think that this was coming, all right? I mean, I would tell you, when we developed the product, it wasn't necessarily, I don't think it was certainly not in my mind that we were gonna end up doing a Forever Young BBL plus sort of program. But this is the way that Bitter used it. When it was Daryl and me and Posner and Chris, we were just doing large areas fast, and that's the key selling point. And I still believe that's the home run issue that you want to really focus on, is opening up these really large areas that you wouldn't have done before. You do them in a matter of minutes, and now the revenue, opportunity is drastically increased. Now, the way that Patrick is doing it really is more of a forever young technique. And I know that we are working on an agreement with him right now in order to train everybody on his method, his sort of secret sauce. But because he's treating a lot of faces and necks, it didn't make sense to keep that in the Forever Body application screen. So we needed to create Forever Young. Plus, it's pretty much his opinion that this is now replaces his Forever Young. All right, and because then that was always a question that was coming up was, well, do you do Forever Young anymore? And the answer for him is really no. It's all Forever. It's all this method. We didn't have a name for it, so we went ahead and just branded it as Forever Young BBL Plus. All right, so these are his slides. It's all skin types. Makes your skin look super amazing. It works on texture. It's a fast result, minimal risks. These are the things that he's going to teach people. He has 9 different protocols. All right, that he, or his 9 different kind of secret recipes that he'll pass along to everybody. And right now the screen will be pretty basic as we introduce it. As we start to understand Patrick's methodology better, we'll be able to create sort of a step user screen. But in the beginning, it's going to be just sort of these kind of 4 settings that you can change. And I think Lacey or somebody was going to talk a little bit more about what you get when you buy a system, because you will get a training with Patrick Bitter to teach Forever Young Plus and Body BBL. All right, but these are just some of his pictures. BBL pictures, of course, he's going to talk about the brightness and the texture and, how fast he got the result and how fast the treatment was. But fundamentally, what he's doing is he's taking advantage of the speed and the energy and just dumping a lot more light into the skin than he was previously. So, so he's sort of putting about, I would say about anywhere from 50 to 75% more light into skin than he was in the past. Now, he's not necessarily doing this procedure a lot faster, but again, it's a face, so they don't take a long period of time anyway. But I think that's the direction that he's going, is enhanced Forever Young BBLS, using these shorter pulse widths, and then again, dumping more light and energy into the face. So these are pretty nice. I mean, that's a nice result post 3 treatments. Really nice job on the reds. She looks really smooth. Her skin really shines. And then, this will be Patrick's baby, to teach everybody how to do all of this. And he'll teach both, body and face. He'll talk a little bit about texture and wrinkling and when to use the 515, when to add the 560, when to add the 640. Again, he has these recipes that he's going to teach everybody. All right. So fundamentally, this was really the goal for me, was to spend 15 minutes making sure that we understand basically this slide right here. Okay. BBL HERO is the module. You can add it to any system. We can upgrade to any system as long as it's not a BBLS or a Joule 7 under this particular serial number. That module opens up the Forever Body application, and it opens up Forever Young BBL Plus. So you're going to have 2 new buttons on the screen also. And other than that, I don't know how to make it any more straightforward than that. Does anybody have any questions?